Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm going to show you today how to make a coffee sleeve cozy for your cold or your hot coffee cups. Got a couple examples here. You can see this is the pumpkin. And I just wanted to show you that this actual design will fit on any of the different size coffee cups. So this is a venti size from Starbucks. This is just a local coffee shop. It's a medium size. And then you have the medium size from Starbucks, and then the mini size from our local coffee shop. So same size, same concept with each of the warmers, and I will be putting out some additional videos with some of the other styles. If you're interested in watching those, subscribe and follow. So let me go ahead and get started here and show you how we make the pumpkin coffee cozy. So you want to start out with a orange worsted weight yarn. I'm not really sure what color this is. It's just a loose skein I had in my stash. So we're going to start out with the orange. You're also going to need a brown, again, just a loose skein that I had left over. So you need a brown for your stem, and then you're going to need a green color for your leaf or your tendril on your pumpkin. And this is actually a Red Heart Super Saver. It's called Tea Leaf is the color I'm using. You can really use just about any color green you want, just worsted weight on those. So we're going to start out. We don't need any waste yarn on the beginning or the end of this. So I'm going to show you how to do this with no waste yarn. So we're going to do the standard cast on. And I am using the 22 pin to make the pumpkin here. So once you cast on your 22 pins, then you're going to make a total of 42 rounds. Go ahead and start cranking, and I'll meet you when we're done with the 42 rounds. All right, we are at 42 rows. So when you get done with your 42 rows, you want to leave about 12 inches, a little more, a little less. Don't need a whole lot to cast off. We are not using any waste yarn on the cast off. So we want to, this is the type of needle I use. It's really easy to thread your yarn through it. The piece here, you just kind of push on it, and you can make it nice and wide and just pop your yarn right through there. And it works in the machine nicely. So we're going to go ahead and spin this around. And let's remove our project from our machine here. Pick up each stitch. Hold that one down so it doesn't pop off. And we're just about there. All right, so let's move our machine out of the way so I can show you how we do the rest of this project. All right, once you get to this point, you want to give that a little bit of a stretch, set your stitches there. And then on the ends, what you're going to do is you're just going to take and you're going to pull your string a little bit tight there. And that's going to pull your stitches together, make them nice and flat so they're not curled up like the other end here. So pull that tight. And then we're going to actually take it and we're going to kind of stretch it back out a little bit, and just whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you like the feel of and the way that it lays is good. I go right about there. And then let me go to the other side. We're going to do the same thing. Pull it nice and tight so it turns all those stitches. See how they're kind of sticking out there? We want those to roll back under the other way so they're nice and flat. All right, spread it back out. And you should have a piece that looks like this. So now what you're going to do is you're going to make fold it in half, make a C shape on each end, and then you're going to take those C's and you're going to sandwich them together. All right, then we're going to find our long tail, and we're going to thread our needle back on the yarn again. And then we're just going to work through the top, making sure that you pick up all the sections of loops here. I'm going to go back and forth across a couple times just to make sure it's nice and secure. You shouldn't drop any stitches at this point because we picked them up off the machine. So at this point, you're just making sure that you're working through all of the rows across and not losing any of your rows. So just pull through, and then we're going to go to the next stitch. See how there's the yarn there? And go right beside it. Work through the stitches on the top. Then we're going to go back through and work our way back across. So just wiggle through, pull it nice and tight as you do that. Make sure you get all the rows in there. If you don't get all the rows picked up in there, then it'll separate in the center of your work. So see, there's 1, 2. I'm going to grab the end of the third one here, and then the fourth one there. And I always like to, at this point, when I get back over to the other yarn, I just tie a couple knots in it, make sure it stays nice and secure. Okay, and then we're going to finish working our way past that to the end. Oops. Once you get to this point, you're usually only going to be working through 2 of the folds. The other 2 folds are generally more on the inside, so by the time you get to the outside, you're usually working just through two parts of that fold over. So we're going to work back to where we made our knot at, and then I'm going to make another knot just to make it nice and secure. All right, I'm going to take my scissors, trim that down a bit, and then we're going to thread that through, and then we're going to bury those ends in the work. Pull that out, and then we just pull those ends into the inside there. So now we're going to take and we're going to fold that wrong side out and give it a little tug there. So there's the pumpkin starting to form. So we're done with the knitting machine part of it, and we're going to go to the crochet portion. So we want to start out with the brown to make our stem, and I use a 5mm or an H hook to do the stem. So you're going to make your slip knot, pull that through, and then you're just going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and when you get to the 5, just a trick for those of you who've never seen this before, when I do my my stitches back into my base chain, instead of doing into the top loop, I turn my chain on its back, and you see how you have these ridges across here. I always do my chains into the ridges across. It just makes a nice clean bottom on your stitch. So just a little tip. So just going to do 4 single crochets back in. So you're going to pick up that loop and single crochet, pick up the next loop, single crochet, pick up the next loop, single crochet, and then pick up the final loop and single crochet. I'm going to trim this off, pull that through, and the stem for your pumpkin is ready to go. So now I'm going to switch to a 4mm crochet hook. And this is the G crochet hook. And we're going to go to the green yarn. So we're going to make another slip knot. And we're going to chain 10 for this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Again, roll your chain so that you have the ridges there. And then we're just going to do a single crochet into the first chain from the hook. And then the next chain, you're actually going to put 4 single crochets into this one. So 2, 3, and 4. So you can see we got all 4 of those stitches in the same crochet stitch there. And then we're going to do 4 in the next stitch. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what that's doing is that's gonna actually create the spin on your tendril there. See how it's starting to curl up there? So we'll continue in the next few stitches to do the 4, and then we'll decrease that at the end. So next stitch, we're going to do 4 more. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 again. And then the next one, do 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to do 1 more of 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're just going to slip stitch our way down the rest of the tendril. So just put your hook in, and then you're just going to pull through the stitch for a slip stitch. Slip stitch into the last one. So you're going to have 3. You're going to start with a single crochet and then do 4 into all the stitches back till you have 3 left on the hook, and then you're just going to slip stitch in the last 3. I'm going to go ahead and trim that off, pull that through, and kind of twist it a little bit, give it a little bit of a tug there, and then we're going to grab our little pumpkin. Always put my stem on first. And I'm going to actually go ahead while we're here. So if you want to make the apple, you make the apple basically the same way that you do the pumpkin. It's exactly the same thing with the 42 rows. You twist it, you know, do the whole body of it the same way. The only thing that's going to be different is your leaf, and I'll show you how to make your leaf if you want to do the apple instead of the pumpkin. So let me show you how to do that real quick. So we're going to make our slip stitch again. Move all that stuff out of the way. Pause that for a second. All right, so to make the leaf for our apple, we're actually going to use a 4.5 crochet hook. So we're going to make our slip stitch, and we are going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn it on its back so you have the ridge there, and in the first stitch from the hook, you're going to make a slip stitch. All right, and then you want to make a single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to go into a double crochet. Double crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to do a half double crochet in the last stitch, or your starting chain. And in that same starting chain, we're going to do a single crochet, and we're going to trim it off there. and pull it through. So there is your little leaf for your apple. So let's get our pumpkin stem. All right, and we're just going to find the spot here in the middle. Just want to shove it down through the center towards the, you want to shove your needle kind of towards the inside and make sure that you're not going to see it on the outside as you're pushing it through there. So you just want to pull that down through till it stops. And then you just grab your other side here. And you're going to do the same thing on the opposite side here. Just push it down in there. And you're kind of trying to get it to the same point on the exit as the other here. So just snug your stem down on there. And then you're just going to tie that in a knot. Trim that back. Oop. Didn't quite get it big enough there. Get those through. Put the wrong side out so you can see what I'm doing here. We're just going to push it in under those stitches, just like we hit our tails when we made our cozy. Just pull it out and then kind of pull those stitches back through. All right, let's flip it right back out. And now we're going to add our little tendril. So with the tendril, you can leave it hang down, you can leave it loose if you want. With mine, I actually put it on there and then I actually tacked it from the back. So it was kind of where I wanted it to be. But you can, you can leave it sticking up in the air. And I kind of like the way this one turned out, so I'm just gonna leave it just the way it landed there. So that, that throw in there. Tie it in the back again. See, I'm just tying a little knot back there to hold it in place. Trim it down. Make sure you get your needle wide enough to thread that through. Okay. Make sure you don't push your needle through on the front, so you don't want to see your green poke out on the front of your pumpkin there. Pull this back through. Now sometimes if you don't pull those real far out, you actually get like a lumpy spot under there, and you can feel it when you're holding your cozy. So just just kind of work those flat with your hand and get that yarn moved around a little bit so you don't have a lumpy spot. But there is your pumpkin, and I will show you how to attach your leaf on your apple. All right, so here we are with the apple. Again, it's made exactly the same way as the pumpkin. So we've got our stem, again, exact same method for making the stem as we did for the pumpkin. Just find the top spot, same way we did with the pumpkin. And just attach your stem on there. So apples would be a nice little stocking stuffer if you have a teacher gift that you want to get for your kid's teacher. All right. Tie your knot. There's our stem. Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and fix that. I see there's an example of what happens when you push your needle too far through. We don't want to be able to see that, so let's fix that real quick. This is what we don't want to do. All right, let's try that again. And then we're just going to find the spot that we want to put our little leaf. Hook our yarn through. And again, you can just leave your leaf free floating, or if you want to tack your leaf, just pull your yarn through, and then figure out how you want that to lay. And then just kind of go on the back side of it here, run your yarn back through, just kind of pick up a piece of the stitch on the back of it there, and that'll keep it from flopping around. And then we're gonna pull this through, back over here. And again, you can do that same thing, can do that same thing with the tendril on your pumpkin as well. Tight. Trim that off. All right, and we are just about done here. And there is the little pumpkin. So, show you real quickly. Well, grab that. Find it easier to hold it open from the bottom, and then just slide it right onto your cup. And hope you guys like it. If you guys enjoy my videos and want me to continue making them, just like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.